Welcome to the new session of the Wildlands campaign. At this moment, it looks like Bella and Krim were just about to start really getting up to their elbows, searching the table of scrolls and papers in a strange code that you have yet to decipher. But before they could take an even closer look, Bref ran into the southern room and grabbed the elven sword that has been lying there for who knows how long.
You're welcome.
And in doing so, triggered the trap that is setting these bearded monstrosities free. Can you tell I love that token? By Devin Knight on Roll20.
That is a really nice one.
No, it is time for us to roll initiative. So, as we're doing that, does anyone have any questions? Remember to select your character before you roll. Does anyone have any questions about this setup? About what's on the board, as it were.
No, okay, never mind. I was going to ask about those green marks, but those are the grooves in the floor. So, never mind.
Indeed. Would you like to know about other grooves?
Are there other grooves?
There are, not previously visible to anyone in the party, but now that Bref has run into the room from that angle, he can now see additional grooves. I will ping them. Here, here, and here. Any questions?
Okay.
Yes.
So we got the grooves, and what are these? Are these things moving? Are they doing anything?
Yes. As Bref reaches down and grasps the gilded scabbard that holds the elven sword, they both step forward and let out a guttural and their tentacle beards reach out, writhing, slimy, in an attack. That's why we're rolling initiative.
Good. Good.
Let's see. Who hasn't rolled initiative? Emily. No, there's Curls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one person who hasn't rolled yet.
I rolled initiative, but it gave me a 0. But I swear
No, you have a 7.
Oh no, I got a 7. My bad. I was looking at the wrong guy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my god. We're missing a player.
Cordy said that she's watching Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
Right.
We're missing a traitor.
We're better than Game of Thrones.
I'm sure I would never make that claim. But, Cordy... No, it's fine. Okay. Actually, that's probably one reason no one will watch this, is because All the nerds are watching Game of Thrones, but us.
That's a good point. But hey,
I'm glad you guys chose to be here. Okay. So, everyone has roll initiative that is participating. Okay. Ak-Iri. These things from another plane of existence, these beings of pure evil, incarnate, have stepped forward, brandishing their weird glaives of twisted metal, and their beards reaching out toward Bref after he grasped the elven sword. What will our curly feathered pigeon person do?
I'm gonna scroll into the map so I can have a better view of them.
All right, I'll center you.
I'm gonna hit the one closest to Breath with the Sacred Flame.
Okay, I think you can probably see that guy. Yes, you can. Just confirming. Alright, the power of Zhuerk, the god that mysteriously chose you, reaches out, and he needs to make a dexterity saving throw. Did I forget to put in their initiative? I did. Hang on. Okay. Hey, Bref, what's your bonus to initiative? All right, Bref. We'll just let you go first. Okay. He needs to make a dexterity saving throw. That is a natural 1.
oh no, he might have made it.
Wah, wah, wah. The bearded devil steps into the flame. This Hamatula, or whatever he is, does not avoid it and will take 8 radiant damage, the maximum amount. Brutal.
Nice.
It sears through some of his beard with its holy light.
And I'm done.
All right, then. Bref, it's your turn.
Well, first I would like to rage real quick, and then I'm going to step very carefully over to this beardy friend without stepping on any of the grooves that you pointed out. There was not one here, correct?
You don't really have time to check your feet during combat.
Okay.
But without taking an action.
Right.
But you don't seem to have triggered anything. Are you carrying the elven scabbarded blade with you, or are you leaving it there?
No, I dropped it when I saw
Okay.
those things moving.
All right.
And I went to recklessly attack.
Nice. With rage.
So that'll be a 15 to hit.
A 15 will strike it, this weirdly dressed monster, or this weirdly dressed being.
That's good to know.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that. That's a 18 damage.
That's nice.
Wow. A brutal blow from the maul.
If I'm not mistaken, that's max damage.
No, that's when the DM
Double
rolls.
sixes.
No, wait. I thought he... Anyway, never mind. It doesn't matter.
All right. Wham! It kind of staggers a little bit, and it's like... wipes his face with his beard. This black blood oozes from his cracked lip. Do you have anything else you want to do?
I'm just gonna scream in its face. Bring it on!
He will. Very well. He sidesteps around you over here, stepping onto one of the grooves. There's a sound like...
Oh, shit.
And he is enveloped in a cloud of impenetrable darkness, so thick, not even dark vision can see through it. However, he seems to be able to see through it. Perhaps some devil's sight allows him to break these laws. From out of the darkness, Bref, you are unable to properly defend yourself against the glaive and then the tendrils of the beard that come right after it to fester in your wound. So, the glaive. But I get advantage because I'm attacking from darkness.
And because I attacked recklessly.
Well, I guess it didn't matter then.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay, that will be a 23 to hit. You don't know quite where he is. But you know, because you've used one, that glaives have reach. So he could be attacking from deeper in the cloud of darkness. All right. So, this blade is strange. It's got this weird curving jaggedness to it. Oops, that's the wrong damage die. There we go. It's going to deal 5 slashing damage, which I know will be halved because of your rage. But this strange wound that the glaive in his hands seems to shift and wriggle in your wound right before the beard comes at it, and it is going to do something nasty if you're not tough enough. So let's make a Constitution saving throw from you.
That'll be a 7.
A big ol' 7. Okay. So, you now have an infernal wound. So help me remember. Help me remember to apply the effects of that at the start of each one of your turns. Game Master's Vault on Twitch says, "Oh, those suck. They do indeed." I'm looking for a nice icon for an infernal wound. I got this. I guess that'll work. It's not quite what I was looking for. But, you know.
I see what you did there.
Okay, so there's this horrific wound. Akiri, you hear Bref perhaps yelp involuntarily as he is struck, and you can't really get a clear look at him, but you can kind of see him, Akiri. There's something nasty about that wound. You know it. You feel it in your cleric's bones. And that is just the... Oh, wait. And that's just the glaive. Now the beard attacks. Seemingly almost with a mind of its own. Beard attack!
His beard is attacking?
His beard is coming out of the darkness and attacking. Oh, wait. Yes. Now, his beard wasn't as long as the glaive, so he now you know he must be right up next to you.
If he'd take better care of that thing, it could be as long as he wanted.
But you still
recommend some oils if you want.
But... the beard has spines in it. And these lacerate you. He does a 17 to hit, which I assume hits.
That does hit, yes.
So these spines in his beard lacerate you, dealing 6 piercing damage. And you're going to need to make another Constitution saving throw.
Good gravy. I don't like these things.
Oh yeah, I should... I forgot to roll with advantage, but he didn't get a crit, so it's fine. Constitution of 21. You may have not been expecting that wound, but your body reacts to whatever this beard is trying to inflict in the wound. So you're not going to have to deal with that at the moment. Okay. And that was just the first one. This guy comes running across the floor there, triggering 2 darkness clouds as he runs over 2 spots with grooves. And then from out of that cloud of darkness, his glaive reaches out to strike Bref from behind.
Bref, you're getting picked on, man.
Well, I'm used to it.
And I'll roll with advantage.
That's what happens when you're the barbarian. Everyone wants...
That's a 15 to hit. No, well, it's a little higher than that, but doesn't matter. This glaive that's stabbing you in the back does not quite hurt as much, but it is going to do 4 slashing damage, which I know you'll have. With your rage, your tight muscles pushing out the blade, but not before it, this weird etched, kind of jagged blade tries to deal another infernal wound to you. So go ahead and, Constitution save of 23, you'll shake that one off. So not a problem. At least it was only a normal wound. All right. There's been hell to pay, if you follow me, but that's over for the moment, as it is Maver's turn.
Okay, I'm gonna scoot past Curls here and just step into the darkness and attack.
Okay. You should be able to click and drag your character and right-click to show your exact path, but I think that's fine. So, kind of scooching along the wall, you brush by Curls and pressing yourself against the wall and reach into the darkness. Now, you're pretty sure you know where this guy is attacking from, but just in case, tell me which square you're attacking. Ping it. Okay. Your dark vision cannot penetrate this little cloud of darkness that seems to have emerged from the very pits of the 9 hells. So you are going to need to make your attack at disadvantage. So which means we'll take the lower of the two rolls.
Nine.
Total of 9. Unfortunately, your hammer whoosh, swings past only air, and you hear inside your mind a voice that no one else can hear. You're going to have to do better than that. Okay, is that the end of your turn, Mavra, or do you still have things you want to do?
I think I'm gonna do an action surge.
Okay.
So I'm gonna attack again.
Yeah. Oh, still, that's good.
17.
Too bad you can't take that crit.
Oh, just barely losing out on a crit due to the darkness. But you will connect with your 17. So go ahead and roll damage. Ooh, you
So I think
feel.
it's going to be that +1 won't come into play because I think that's from the crit.
Yes. That's right. So it's only the 11, which is still really good. So, your hammer connects, and you hear this sort of soft, like, splat sound, and you feel it, and the shock of it up your arm, and you hear this audible grunt, and the voice in your head changes to, "Nah, that hurts, little dwarf woman." Is that the end of your turn, Mavra?
Yes.
Crim. Haley, I think you're frozen. No, we lost Haley. Somebody throw her a lifeboat.
Man down, man down.
Technical difficulties. Okay, your camera's moving again. We heard a noise. Yeah, you're not really coming through, Haley. Bummer. Oh no. You could turn off your camera, Haley. It might be just too much. We can't really hear you. The camera and the phone are separate. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're not really coming through. I meant it might be too much for your poor Wi-Fi or whatever you have, but... Oh no, not back to typing! Alright, gotta do what you gotta do. Looks like I'm back to typing for this... I'll read it in a dramatic voice. Well, it looks like I'm back to typing for this round. So I'm running towards the noise. Well, go ahead. Move yourself. How are you at lip sync? I've heard of a fun way to do, Can I get to Akiri's space or just past her? Let's find out. So you would be moving from here, stepping past that guy. That's 20 feet. That says 25, but it would actually be 30. So yeah, you can't get past her because you only have a speed of 30. So you could get to this square, You can get to this square. Any of these squares behind Akiri, but not past her. Because she would slow you down. Okay, so I'll get to the square behind Akiri, and that ends my turn. Okay. So that will end Crim's turn. So that takes us to Bella.
All right. Well, I'm going to do the thing that I normally do best in these kinds of situations and just sort of inspire everybody pleasantly with my bagpipes. So I'm going to come up over here and I'm going to give it to Mavra because she was so effective in the last round.
Do you have to see the person you're inspiring?
I think we talked about that last time, and they just had to be able to hear them.
I think so. Yeah, one creature within 60 feet who can hear you. So you get 1d6 in the next 10 minutes on any d20, basically.
All right, Mavra, you hear a blast of beautiful bagpipe music.
I have to send you my my
Theme song.
my d20 music or my nat 20 music. I have it now.
Cool. Well, we'll set that up another time. But for the moment, we'll imagine the bagpipe music rolling over Mavra and filling her with confidence, even though she cannot see Bella. Equitus, it's your turn.
All right. Equitus is going to kind of slide past Akiri and come down here. And I'm going to turn around, and I am not liking these devils at all, particularly at all. And I'm going to fire an Eldritch Blast into the darkness of the square that this square here that just I don't know. That's the one I want to hit.
Which square?
Badoo, this one.
All right. Go ahead and make an attack with disadvantage. You don't have Devil's Sight, do you?
I do not have Devil's Sight, just plain old dark vision.
Okay.
All
Will not
Eldritch
penetrate.
Blast. 16.
A 16 will connect. Roll your
Nice.
Eldritch damage.
So that's going to be, well, that would have been a 17, and then it'll be 7 on the damage with the gash.
That will be 7 on the damage with the Gesh.
Oh,
got it.
Plus 3 for my pact thing. My
Oh, you need to add that in.
agonizing blast. I do. I will work on that right now. But yeah, plus 3 for agonizing blast.
So, total of 10 damage.
That is right.
That's quite a hit. Mavra, you're right next to it, so you can almost feel the... would you say your Eldritch Blasts are more of a freezing cold darkness?
Okay, you can do that. Yeah, that'll work.
I forget how we've described it before.
We haven't really described any kind of heat.
The freezing cold darkness from beyond the stars rips through the bearded devil and does a hefty chunk of damage, almost as much as your Warhammer strike did before. Equitus, do you have anything else you want to do? What does that skull mean? I don't remember.
Is it his life thing?
He's under the influence of something.
Yeah. Do I?
Oh, it means you're carrying the scepter.
Ah, yes, that's it. Not really under the influence necessarily, unless you count able to hear a creepy voice every once in a while.
Well, it also seemed to react almost magnetically with any undead that you passed by.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. But no, I'm done.
Okay. Akiri, it's your turn. Top of the round.
Alrighty. So. I'm going to come down into this room and see if I can hide behind Equitas a little bit. Sorry, buddy. So, like...
Perfectly fine.
There, maybe? I'm small, I could probably fit.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. And then... Can I see any of these nasty guys?
No, they are both hidden inside an impenetrable cloud of darkness from the very pits of the Nine Hells.
Okay, cool. Then... What can I do?
You have seen attacks emerging from them. You're seeing Bref bleeding from this horrific wound. Ah, yes, you're getting a clearer look at that wound now. It's nasty. It tingles your cleric senses in a bad way.
I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
Alright, so... Alright. I can't really do anything because all my things are site-based. Alright, so, I'm gonna do a healing word on breath, I guess. So, here you go, buddy. 11 points.
What is the word that you say?
Heads up.
Heads up, and the power of Duerk heals your wounds.
Fantastic.
I thought
Nice.
the bird would be the word.
Not in this case. That's racist. No, I'm just kidding.
Only if
Oh
you was
yeah, I guess you're right.
Excellent. And so that was Akiri's turn. Now it's Bref's turn. Bref, the infernal wound.
Oh yes, what?
The infernal wound bleeds. It gushes blood like the broken pipe on the gutter. You are going to take 5 damage. Straight up.
Nasty.
Actually, I should roll it. 5 is the average. Hang on. How much does it bleed? 7 damage. As the bleeding
Let's go back to
flows.
5, okay? Can we just do it? No, I'm kidding.
What do you think? This is 4th edition?
I am going to continue recklessly attacking where those beard bits came out of.
Okay.
So I think my advantage will nullify the disadvantage caused by the darkness.
Right.
Heyo!
And it's fortunate that you did.
Nice.
Okay, the only I think the only music that I've actually uploaded. Sorry, people who have sent me music. I think Paul sent me some music that I need to upload. Your maul comes smashing into the cloud of darkness, breaking bone and shattering protrusions from the devil's skin. That was awesome.
That is so friggin' awesome.
It is a mighty blow. So, dealing, what is that, 21 points of damage?
23 with the rage.
That's nice.
You have destroyed this thing. Absolutely dead. One still remains, but it lets out a shout. No! Actually an infernal. So only Equitus knows that it's saying that. But it also kind of shrieks psychically. And you all hear its shout in its head. It seems very upset that its friend or double has been killed. All right, Bref.
Knowing that this may provoke an attack of opportunity, but wanting to draw this guy out of the darkness, I'm going to move.
All right, the glaive reaches out toward your unprotected back as you move away, and will take an attack of opportunity at you. Lucky man, that's only a 7. Wasn't expecting such a foolish move.
Well, he will have advantage, because I did attack recklessly.
And he's in darkness. So 2 reasons. I always forget the advantage when it doesn't roll it automatically. Unfortunately, your honesty is appreciated, but it also means that he hits. He is going to hit you, and his thing will rip through you, possibly dealing another infernal wound. So you're going to have to roll. Oh my lord. That is going to be 13 slashing damage before your rage kicks in.
And 16 to save.
Your save will be successful.
Oof, good.
So you will not take an increased infernal wound.
Wait, I can't remember. Did he have to roll? Did he have to roll some sort of save for that infernal damage, or is there no save for it?
After the initial save, I did not ask for another one.
Okay. Wow.
It's continuing to bleed out. Bref, I think that's the end of your turn, so it's their turn. There's a brief glimpse of him as he steps out from the darkness. And he's walking right toward you, Equitus. Or kind of to the side, actually. And he steps on the groove marked in the ground.
It's not that funny.
The darkness spreads out, and from within this pitch blackness, this twisted, jagged-edged glaive reaches out and attempts to cut you, followed closely by the beard, which has spines in it, writhing and trying to infect your wounds with something. So, first we have the glaive attack with advantage. Maybe I should just roll 2d20. Okay, well that's definitely going to be a hit, right? 23.
Correct. I have a question though, real quick. Those bracers, did I said I attuned to last time? I don't think we ever found out exactly what they do.
true, because
I don't know
you
how
would
many
have to. You're going to have to study it over a short rest.
Oh. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
They did not start working immediately. I don't think.
I got you.
The glaive will deal 7 slashing damage, and you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
All right. Constitution. Oh no. I bet 11 doesn't get it.
That will fail. You are now the bearer of an infernal wound. Your blood pouring from this unstanched, jagged injury that up close, Akiri, you feel even more nasty vibes from it. I was using the bleeding eye, wasn't I?
Do you mean more nasty as in like additional nasty vibes, or in terms of
No. It's just closer.
Yeah, I was gonna be like,
Oh, okay.
Oh, by the way, I'm casting Hellish Rebuke. Whatever else happens, I'm casting Hellish Rebuke.
Gotcha. Do you need to see your enemy to cast that?
No, I read up on that. It just says in the description,
Okay.
it just says point your finger, you point your finger, and the creature that damaged you is momentarily surrounded by hellish flames. That's all.
DC 13.
Oh, poop.
With a 16, he will sidestep half of that. So 3 fire damage.
He's probably not taking a lot from the fire anyway, just because maybe. I don't know if we know that for sure about him, but I would guesstimate that as a devil, he's probably immune to fire on some level.
Wouldn't doubt it.
You hear laughter from within the cloud of darkness.
Now, I got the 6 or the 7 from the initial attack. How much was it from the? Did I get it from the
wound?
infernal wound?
The infernal wound triggers at the start of each of your turns.
Oh, so
But
it's
now
yeah.
here comes the beard.
Oh, good.
I should roll 2d20. I did, and I rolled badly, which is lucky for you, Mr. Squishy. So yeah, that's a 10, which I think misses.
It does.
Okay, Mavra, it's your turn.
I took note of where the creature was before the darkness came around him.
Indeed.
So I'm going to go over where I think that spot was and just wait.
Okay, so you're gonna move there and just wait?
No, and take a swing.
Oh, you take a swing. I thought you said wait for some reason. I must be hearing things. Alright, so you take a swing. So go ahead and make an attack with disadvantage, so 13. These guys are not wearing much armor. They look like they're very underdressed. Perhaps they come from warmer climes. That will hit.
Yeah.
5 damage as your Warhammer connects with something in the darkness, and you hear a slight yelp of pain. All right. Is that the end of your turn, Mavra?
It is.
Krim. Hey, Krim, are your technical difficulties resolved?
I have no idea.
We hear you. We hear you.
Yeah, you sound good. Pretty
Okay.
good. Pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah, I just brought out my running headphones, so...
That's good.
I'm gonna say Crib has no idea what's going on. So, but she's heard kind of what's been going on.
She's certainly heard the crash of combat.
Yeah, I'm gonna say she's gonna run right here and then wait to have a better sense of what's going on. Because she's heard Aquinas and Mavra attacking something, but she can't see it, so she has no idea.
Does Krim have any buff spells, like spells that can improve her allies' abilities?
No, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, here's one thing you can do, is you can ready an action. So, you can say, I'm just going to stay ready, I'm going to cast a spell, I'm going to concentrate on this magic, and I'm going to stay ready, and as soon as I see an enemy, perhaps step out of a cloud of darkness, I'm going to let that spell fly.
Okay, then she's going to ready magic missile.
Okay, now, the thing about readying is you might not want to ready a first level spell. You might want to ready a cantrip, because when you ready, you have to actually cast the spell. It's actually expended. So,
Firebolt.
Okay, sounds good. Yay! We learned a new rule. Awesome. Okay, so that I use that icon to remind me that you're readied. Okay, Krim is readying a firebolt. The crackling flames curling over her clawed and scaly hands. Bella, it's your turn.
Alrighty. But this guy is still completely encased in darkness, right?
He is encased in darkness. You did hear a solid thud when Mavra attacked him, so you know approximately where he is.
Yeah, but unfortunately, most of my spells that damage require me to have a sight on the target. Which sucks. I don't remember Bard used to be like that, but, whatever. So I will go ahead and I will cast Healing Word on Aquitas.
Thank you.
What's the word?
It's, feel better and a hearty pat on the back.
So she says, feel better really fast, so it sounds like one word, and pats you on the back. And that heals you 5 points. Very nice.
Why did you just say for better?
I was trying to say Diagon Alley.
Okay, is that the end of your turn, Bella?
That's the end of it.
Equitus, you're up.
Alright. I'm going to stay where I am. I'm going to turn in the direction that I think that guy is at. Really not liking this guy at all for so many reasons. And I'm going to Eldritch Blast him. And you know what? I'm gonna put a little bit of extra English on it. I'm gonna add some of that acid touch to it.
All right then.
And I figure it'll be at disadvantage. Ah, shoot. 9 plus 1, 10.
Unfortunately, the shadow stuff that erupts from your fingers will fly right past the bearded devil. And oh no, we just lost Emily right before her turn. Do you have anything else you want to do, Equitus?
No, I'll stay there.
Okay. Emily is back. Curls. What would Curls like to do?
Butt today.
All we heard was butt.
Oh, it's my Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is being an asshole today.
It'll do that.
Alright, so... Alright, so... Akira's kind of really over this whole thing, and for the first time since you guys have met her, she's gonna curse, by saying, fuck you to the demon dude, and send a guiding bolt his way.
Alright, unfortunately she's going to get disadvantage because she cannot see him.
She doesn't care. She's just really done with this whole thing. Not that it really matters or anything, because she got a 21.
Oh, just losing out on the crit there. Oh well, but a 21 is still a solid hit. So the bolt will guide into him, and 46 radiant damage. And the next attack roll before the end of your next turn has advantage. Thanks to the mystical dim light glittering on the target until then. Oh boy.
The darkness cancel that out though?
So you want to know an interesting factoid?
Sure.
If we were playing 3rd edition, it would, because the darkness would be a higher level darkness spell than Guiding Bolt. But in this edition, we don't have any of those annoying things like hyper-specific rules, so it's just going to work.
Fuck yeah. Alright, that was a good decision.
So the next attack is going to... you're going to get a pretty good sense of where he is. Now, that unfortunately includes the 12 we don't count, but 13 damage is going to be an enormous blast. Let's see. We don't get to use this icon too often. There's our guiding bolt.
Gonna put this devil on blast real quick.
Devil, you are canceled.
And he is going to take solid damage. Did I just put a triple skull and crossbones on him? Not what I meant to do. But his doom is probably near. Okay. So, he lets out a snarl. Your kind would never be allowed to survive where I come from.
Arby's.
A typical Arby's customer. Bref, you're up.
So, looking at my friends swinging into this bubble of darkness, I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4. 5,
Oh, wait, stop.
6.
Stop.
Yes.
Go back. I'm going to move you back. Or go ahead. Stop there. Right here. You have stepped on a groove. Stop grooving. And I'm just kidding. And a cloud of darkness envelops you. But you can keep moving if you like. Into the more darkness.
But I am wounded.
Take some damage. Your wound continues to bleed, this time dealing 3 damage to you.
Yeah, I mean, it won't make a whole lot of difference either way, but since I do see that faint glow, I don't feel the need to attack recklessly.
Okay.
I mean, it would still get advantage against me anyway, because it's attacking from darkness, but I'm just going to swing my mole for a 24.
Yes. So your advantage is canceling out the disadvantage, so you are getting a hit.
Destroy it.
For 15 damage.
15 damage. The raging barbarian strikes, and there's a mighty crunch as his maul strikes home on the enemy. Is that it, Brett? Is that the end of your turn?
That'll do it.
Okay. There's an angry snarl. Where's the high priest? Where is the... What?
I said Equitas has nothing to worry about. Like, I'm the one he
He is, in fact, going to step toward you, and in the darkness, Breath will not get an attack of opportunity. Because he can't see what's going on. But you see what's going on as a glaive comes rushing out of the dark, followed by the beard coming at you. So, Curls. Where are the Ebbian acolytes?
What?
The who?
Fair question.
Press herself back against the wall. So like,
That is going to be a 18 to hit.
that's one more than my armor class. I'm salty.
All right. Well, that's not all that's salty, as your blood comes gushing out of your wound, and you take 4 slashing damage and need to make a Constitution saving throw as he wriggles the jagged blade in the wound. It seems to be shifting in his grip, the metal itself.
Sorry, my bird closed my character sheet out. 1 second.
Burb.
A 12?
You made it.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
That is the DC. Just barely resisting. Her bird-like body does not take the infernal wound, but this attack is followed closely by the beard, with spines within it seeking, poking. That will be a 13 to hit.
Misses!
All right. The beard does not strike you, and the voice only says, if the acolytes were here, they would let me. They would let me get away from you all. But
She's like, what are you talking about?
don't seem to be able to leave. Which is aggravating. Mavra.
Okay, I noticed the beard came out at Akiri, so I am going to switch where I attacked last time, even though I'm not completely sure where he is.
Hit him, please.
19.
Thank you.
Kill it.
An 11 damage.
That is a hit, and 11 damage is quite a hit. Ah! Why did those Ebbian acolytes sprinkle so much silver dust around? It's making it very hard to survive all of these attacks. Is that the end of your turn, Mavra?
Yeah.
All right. Krim. I just skipped your turn. You're up, Krim. He did not emerge from the darkness, so your attack never went off.
I did double check, and it's only for a target within range. I don't have to see him, but I'm assuming I'd get disadvantage on a firebolt attack.
Correct.
Okay. Then I'll just...
And also, you'd be firing through your friends, so it might be a little difficult.
Okay. I'll just... I don't know, I haven't contributed anything to the fight, so I'll just fire a firebolt.
Go for it!
You're good.
And even if that hits, that's some really bad damage.
Well, it does hit. But unfortunately, he laughs it off. The silver dust doesn't take that away. Fool.
Shut up.
Well, that's not nice.
I will not shut up. I will kill you.
I think we're about to get into an insult match.
Bella, vicious mockery.
I have to be able to see him. I can't make fun of him if I can't see anything funny about him.
I mean, you can see his beard, right? That's gotta be funny enough.
It's mostly disgusting.
Crim's turn is over, I think, unless you want to move or something. So it's Bella's turn now.
I can't cast any spells on him if I can't see. This is terrible. And I definitely can't shoot him if I can't see him. I mean, I guess I can either give someone else Bardic Inspiration or I can heal Mavra. I'll heal Mavra. That'll free up some healing on you.
Breath.
Heal breath?
Breath
Yes.
What?
Orakiri.
Oh, breath! I was looking at the wrong frickin'
That's what
HP
I
bar.
thought.
Yeah, I'll heal breath. There you go.
Fantastic.
Your healing word. What is the word?
I don't know. Healing.
She says healing, and it happens.
It's
How-
breath. We gotta keep it simple.
How bardic. Aquitus, your turn.
Alright. I'm actually going to step back a little bit, first of all. Is it,
It is the start of your turn, my friend. Oh, you don't have... You do have a wound, don't you?
I do.
Okay. It is the start of your turn, and
And I
your
probably don't wanna move
wound
anyway.
gushes blood. Pouring out onto the sandy stone below. It's not gonna roll, and then I'm gonna try again. It's gonna roll 2. I know it. There we go.
Oh no.
So, Aquitus's spleen comes out of the jagged wound. As Emily's camera is attacked by a pigeon. Aquitus is bleeding out fast. What would you like to do?
I would like to lie down, but I'm going to.
Hang on. Was it Aquitus who got healed before by the healing word?
The previous healing word that came from. I did get healed by one of them.
It was
It came
Bella.
from Bella. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yes. Bella, I forgot to ask you to make a wisdom check when you did that. So go ahead and do that now.
A wisdom check when I healed breath?
I think when you healed me.
Actually, yes. So both of them.
Wait, no, I've also thrown off a healing word. So which one of us did it?
All right. Then, okay. Both of you roll a wisdom check. Just straight wisdom, not wisdom save.
That was almost a crit. Dang it. Oh, wow. We both did.
If you have proficiency in medicine, you can apply your proficiency.
I think y'all did a wisdom save, and he won't.
Yeah,
Didn't you say a straight wisdom check?
Yes.
Let me try that again.
Do you have medicine? It's a medicine check. Do you have
I'm proficient in medicine.
Okay, so make a medicine check.
Roll
I
for
think
the
it's
third.
gonna add the same modifier.
Yeah, as the save,
no, it
but
adds a better
whatever.
modifier.
Okay, Bella got a 14.
Yeah.
Bella, you were able to direct your magic into that jagged wound, and it cleared up. Now Emily ended up rolling Equitus. Or
So does that mean
Bella.
I can just take that 10?
Yes, it does.
Oh, thank God.
Now
Breath. I've also healed
roll
breath.
for breath. Now Emily, you rolled like 3 times.
Yeah, which one do you want to use?
We'll count the first one. So that was a 19. So it would have succeeded.
Okay, cool.
That was on Equitus, right?
I believe so.
Okay. So it would have worked. You would have realized that it would have worked for him too. Okay. Not a wisdom save, but a wisdom check. But it doesn't matter. Just noting for the future, saves are different from checks. That one did fail, so Bref still has the infernal wound. Alright. So, Equitus, I think, yes, your wound did not bleed out. You thought it was bleeding out, you check it, and it's actually been closed by the magic word of healing. So, what would you like to do? What would you like to do?
Alright, I am going to, I really can't do anything except fire an Eldritch Blast there into darkness where it looked like I saw, where the attack on Akiri came from, to that square there.
Alright. Yeah, so you'll have disadvantage.
Right. 14?
A 14 will
Or
hit.
15? Okay,
A
cool.
15 will hit.
So that'd be 4 plus 5 plus 3 plus 1. So that's...
Well, the 5 is only for the crit.
Oh, okay, so that'd be 7, 8. Total. 8 total.
8 total, okay. You hear a yelp from within the darkness. Ah! It's not you killing me. It's the silver dust.
Whatever. Just die.
Akiri, it's your turn.
Okay. You know what? We're gonna do something new. We're gonna do something new. And Max, I'm sorry, I don't entirely know how to do this. Apologies. I'm gonna do an inflict wounds on him, so I'm gonna reach into the darkness where I thought I saw him and wave around wildly and try to do an inflict wound.
Basically, you'll be making your melee spell attack at disadvantage. That's all.
Okay. How do?
Okay, we'll check your character sheet. Do you have the attack already written on there? Yes. It's 3 up from the bottom. In your attacks and spellcasting. On your core page.
Okay.
So click the name of the spell in the spell book to cast it or whatever. Mark off the spell in the spell book as you lost a slot.
Right.
And then actually, I think if you click inflict wounds in the chat, that'll work too.
Okay. So.
There it is. Yeah, it's got the attack and everything. And a 12, however, will be a miss.
Damn it. All right. That's the end of my
All right. Just barely. You feel your hands, brush right past him as the crackling magic does not strike him. Okay. Bref, it's your turn.
So, thinking back to last turn when I was over on the other side of the room, these circles on the ground, are they made of silver?
You look down. He's been talking about this silver dust, and you're noticing for the first time that the sand in here is a bit different from that in the rest of the room. There does seem to be some kind of shiny, silvery stuff mixed in with it that you hadn't really noticed before. But as you're looking down, you feel the trickle down your side of your infernal wound that I think you still have. But correct me if I'm wrong. Dealing 8 more bleed damage to you.
Can I, as a maybe like a bonus action or as like half my movement, can I spit on the end of my maul and rub some of this dust onto it?
Oh.
Sure.
And then I'm going to step into the darkness and attack recklessly.
Okay. Flailing with absolute disregard for his personal safety. Oh, only getting a 9.
Such a good idea, dear.
Having trouble seeing.
I mean, yes, I assumed that was the point.
It's the silver dust, or your maul would do nothing to me.
Well, that's unusually helpful.
Might as well go for the weak one. And he turns toward Equitus.
Equitus, I don't think you're
Hey!
Very rude.
Unfortunately, that put you on your guard, and you were able to hop back, perhaps. He gets a 12. Does that hit?
It does not.
So his glaive will whiff. The beard...
Oh, no.
Finally, a hit with the beard. So the beard has spines in it. And that is going to do some piercing damage to you, total of 3. But that's not the nasty part. The nasty part is now you have to make a Constitution saving throw as those spines lacerate your wounds.
Oh, shoot. 4.
That will fail. You become poisoned with some strange poison.
Okay. That doesn't sound fun at all.
Ah, at least I got you.
I can do that too.
Mavra.
Of what
Okay, I can't do
breath
that.
just did, and do the same thing with my hammer.
Do the same thing with your hammer. Alright, so you spit, you rub it in the dust, it's now silvery, and you take a swing. Even with disadvantage, that 23 is definitely going to connect. For 5 bludgeoning damage. Mavra. Would you like to describe how he dies?
Alright.
How do you want to do this?
Well, I put the silvery sand on my hammer and just swung down as hard as I could.
Connecting in the darkness with the bridge of his nose, you cave his face in. and knock him back into the wall that he's pressed up against. There is an awful crunch, and you hear the body slide down and crumple to the floor. No, not fair fight. And with that, my friends, we are out of combat.
I step out of the darkness and say, I'm bleeding quite a bit here.
Oh, yeah. We're actually going to have to keep tracking rounds. So that just happened. Does anyone want to react to that?
I have one more spell that I could use to heal, but if someone else has healing, that would be great too.
I mean, I'm gonna start bleeding out here too.
Do you have you could also, bind it up.
I have a +1 to medicine, so I could probably assist on something.
Oh wait, medicine. I can do medicine.
I've got a little bit to medicine myself. Not a lot, but a little bit.
I have a +6 to my medicine. I can help.
That's good.
So what do you do?
Can I rip a little bit off my shirt or something to make strips of strips of cloth?
Taking the very shirt off her back, Akiri rips strips of cloth and attempts to bind up the jagged wound left by the glaive. Go ahead and make a wisdom medicine check.
17?
Successful. The wound has been bound and no more bleeding will occur from it.
And then can I do the same to breath?
I thought that was breath.
Oh, sorry.
Equitus isn't bleeding. Equitus has been poisoned.
There's something
Breath
weird
is
about the
actually bleeding.
poison, certainly.
Never mind.
But yes, the breath was bleeding and you bound that up. Aquitus has some kind of poison in his veins, still flowing through them, making him feel a little sick.
Got some Dramamine.
Aquitus, it will fade over the next minute.
Okay. Alright.
Well, you're out of combat. What would you guys like to do?
I want to reach in the darkness in front of me, pull the body of the devil out, and kind of look him over and see what I can find, what he looks like, what he's wearing, see if I can find any loot on him.
All right. You pull out of the darkness and make an investigation check. His body and glaive are crumbling into ash.
Oh,
Slowly.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. A 17. Yeah. He has some coins that you pluck from his body before everything crumbles to dust. And you're able to keep those.
Okay.
He has a kind of a money pouch folded in among his weird kind of decorative armor. And you take that. And within, you find some copper pieces, some silver pieces, and some gold pieces. So, to be specific, 20 coppers, 5 silvers, and 9 gold.
silver?
5.
5 silver. Okay. And tell me the number of gold again. I got the copper.
Actually, never mind. No silver. Just copper and gold. 20 coppers and 9 gold.
Okay. All right. Okay. 20 copper, 9 gold.
That's right. As you guys search the other body, it seems to have crumbled completely into dust, along with all of its equipment before it was pulled away. And so there is really nothing but ash.
I want to get this sword.
You pick up.
I mean, I already got my sweet new quiver and my extremely strange bubble arrows, so I'm good for the rest of the...
Yeah, I thought I wanted a sword, but it turns out I don't.
Did we pick up all the infernal code papers? I thought we were doing that.
You were about to when
Right.
combat broke out.
And I believe we were carrying the Scarlet Sleeper. Or we were thinking about carrying him.
Indeed, this mysterious man lying on the floor, fast asleep for who knows how long, with scattered books and papers of partially translated code lying all around him.
Now, does he have evil tattoos like the lady in the other place?
I'm pretty sure we checked and he did not.
You go over there, Bella, and you push up his sleeves. And there are no tattoos marking him as a servant of Lady Zavia.
I'm gonna go back into the room and pick up as many of the infernal code papers as I can.
You're collecting the papers when some of them catch your eye, Krim. They are different from the others. They look like magical runes scrawled across these scrolls, rather than the weird infernal code.
I know comprehend languages can't translate runes. I'll take them anyway. Is there
All
any
right,
sort of
then.
check I could do on them, like an investigation check or?
Sure, an intelligence check might be in order. I'll allow investigation, I think. Or arcana.
Definitely doing Arcana.
Okay. So Krim examines these scrolls with her arcane knowledge. Looks like a 13. That's good enough. These are scrolls containing spells. And if you were to kind of read them off the last final words of the scroll and complete the spell, you would be able to cast it. And these seem to be scrolls of identify.
That will come in handy.
Yes, definitely taking these.
There are 3 of them.
Do I need to add that to inventory?
That would be advisable if you're going to carry them. Also add to inventory piles of diabolical diagrams and coded maps and missives.
I just add that into equipment.
Yes.
Stuff like this, I usually put under treasure. Well, but a scroll of identify, that'd be different, wouldn't it? My bad.
I don't know. Sometimes I put it under treasure too. Matter of preference. However you want to track it on your character sheet is fine.
Where do you put this treasure?
Under the bio tab in the top right.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
All
Okay,
right.
so while he's looking for those, can I do a ritual cast of detect magic on the sword that Brett found?
All right, you're looking through. While she's looking through the papers, Curls, the Aarakocra, is taking out a copper coin and ritually casting detect magic. You're going to pick up a lot of auras when that spell completes. 10 minutes later, you're getting auras from your friends, from the objects they carry. From the clouds of darkness that are very slowly fading away. You're going to pick up... you will pick up an aura from the sword.
Cool. What school is it?
Stand by. The school, is what you're asking me for, yes?
Yep.
Okay. Are you taking out the sword and examining it at all, or you're just casting the spell for now?
Just casting the spell for now, unless Brett is like tinkering with it or something.
Okay. You sense that it is magical, and the school is transmutation.
Okie doke. Interesting.
You know, we could use one of our new, I suppose we could ask if we could use one of our scrolls of identify. One of these scrolls of identify.
The only thing is the written runes.
That is the magical script that contains the magic. Now that you have looked over these scrolls, you're pretty sure you can just use them.
Okay.
You don't... I don't think that you need any special abilities to use a scroll in this edition. But maybe I should check that.
So should I just speak what's on the scrolls, or
What's that?
is that dangerous?
Well, if you want to cast the spell, then yeah, you can.
Yeah, I think they're pretty safe. They're just plain old scrolls of identify.
Okay. So do you want me to speak all three of the scrolls, or just...
No, you should just have to use one for one object, one per object. So since the only thing you're doing is the staff, it should just use the one scroll. Or not staff, sword.
So you want me to speak it onto the sword?
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, then I'm heading back down.
What are you doing?
I'm going to try and speak the spell of identify on the sword.
I don't seem to have my damn DM guide with me, which is unfortunate because it would explain scrolls to me. And I'm not... I am just going to go by what I know. So, yes. So you read the scroll over the mysterious sword. So still no one's picked it up? again after the one touch. Is that right?
I'm pretty sure I picked it up
Oh.
before I had to go and do children-y things.
Okay, well, how are they doing stuff to it then? Are you holding it out, or did you put it back
I'm
down?
holding it out. Like when I've missed who who was casting detect magic, I would have been like, oh yes, please.
Okay. So it'll take you a.
Hold it while
Go ahead.
sorry. I think I should probably hold it while I speak the spell.
Well, you have to touch it in order to cast Identify.
Okay.
In order to keep things from being weird, I will not ask anyone to touch my sword.
There are the instructions are clear from the magical runes written across the scroll. So it takes a full minute to read through this particular scroll and to cast the Identify spell. Identify is pretty cool. So you learn a bunch of stuff, and this knowledge just kind of appears in your mind.
She can use it. I'm reading from the DM book. Any creature that can understand a written language can read the arcane script on a scroll and attempt to activate it.
There you go.
So what do I learn?
You learn. You learn that this is a silvered longsword. A silvered longsword that also is meant to be used by a performer.
Really?
Or somebody who would like to be better at performing. It is of elvish make, indeed. And it, once per day, can grant the wielder advantage on a single performance check. If they are, if they are wielding it. It does not require attunement, but it is a silvered longsword, which lets it do some special things, like get past the resistances of certain fiendish creatures, and hurt them. Yeah. It's a silvered longsword of the performer. Of elven make.
I'm gonna tell all of that to the group, and then should we give it to Bella then, since she probably has the most use for it?
I mean, probably.
Sounds
Bella, want
funny.
this cool sword?
Sure.
I'm getting all the weapons in this dungeon.
And a helmet.
Redistribute. I have this bow here, and I don't know who else wants that.
I think you're the only one who actually uses a bow.
But doesn't Aquinas have the bracers?
He does.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got bracers and something else that I've got written down here. Oh yeah, the weird talking staff.
Oh, I got that little rod of worm. I need to write that down.
And I mean, I don't have to have the bracers. I like the idea of the bracers because I definitely would like to up my armor class. But I can be talked out of them.
As your healer, please, up your
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's your insurance company calling you to tell you to stop smoking.
As your health insurance agent, do it, please.
Alright, so what do we want to do now? We've got... have we looted this room for everything except the guy that's sleeping on the floor of it? Which we're literally about to do?
We haven't looked over it since apparently the spheres of darkness have dissipated. We haven't looked to see if there's any money on the other body.
That's true. There was some money on this body. Somebody want to check the other one?
I mentioned that when you pulled it out, by the time you pulled it out, now it is completely crumbled to ash along with everything it was carrying.
The other body also?
Yep. Nothing but handfuls of ash.
I will distribute this money out. That's what Equitus would do anyway. So I got 20 copper and 9 gold. How many of us are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 altogether. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, we missing? We are missing. So 9 divided by 7. So everybody would get basically 1 gold. And I'll keep the two left over. So everybody add 1 gold. And then divided by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Come on. That would be everybody would get 2 copper. Yeah, and everybody gets 2 copper.
Oh, hey, did that detect magic consume the copper, or do I still have it?
You still have it.
Cool, thanks.
Things used for material components in the casting of spells are not expended unless specifically said so. So, now what?
Well, I might have lost track. Yeah, there's only just that one more room. So we might at least want to take a short rest first.
Might not be a bad idea. With a short rest, do you get to use hit dice?
Yes, you can.
And you have staff, so isn't you get an extra hit dice that you can, if you're a magic caster, expend for a spell slot? I think is how we.
Exactly.
Is that? Wait, cool. That's how it works.
Well, not only spellcasters, but it works for other abilities too.
Like Mabra's action surge.
Mm-hmm. So you guys sit down and in this room, I guess, or some other room.
I'd say the one with the sleeping dude in it, just so we can keep an eye on him. Like, now that these devils are gone, maybe that'll have some effect.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
You sit down in this room and you rest after your battles and explorations. Is anyone doing anything special while you are seated? You sharpen your weapons, you bind your wounds, you clean out your cuts and bruises. And some of you spend hit dice.
I am going to play you guys a new song that I have learned. It's extremely relaxing. And the melodious and gentle sound of bagpipes fills the air as I use a song of rest.
What does Song of Rest do?
Basically, anybody who spends a hit die gets a bonus hit die worth of healing.
Nice.
Or a bonus 1d6 of healing, rather.
Can I look around to see if we've missed anything about the room?
Sure.
And
Since I'm not
I'm
ready.
sorry, quick question: the staff that we have, is that those of us who are not using its benefits to regain a special ability? It gives us 1 extra hit die.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
So, okay, so I just spent a hit die. I have 2 total hit dies, and I hadn't used any, so I had them both. So I just spent a hit die, and I got 1 from that. Is that right?
Yes.
So leaving me even, back at the 2. Okay. Cool. That's pretty nice.
Crim, you are standing up and looking around to see if you've missed anything. Go ahead and make a perception roll. Crim, you notice a kind of a scritching, scratching sound. You can't quite tell where it's coming from, almost like it's inside the walls.
Okay, I'm gonna tell that to the other members of the group to get them to pay attention to that.
Sorry, could you repeat that a little louder?
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna tell the other members of the group, like, do you hear that? Can you guys tell where it's coming from?
I'll wake up. What did it sound like?
Scratches.
Not wake up and get up, whatever.
Sounds like there's something inside the walls.
Which direction, which wall did it sound like it was coming from?
I have absolutely no idea. It's just quiet. But
There's really no telling what's down here. I'm not surprised. I think as long as it's not in this room or the next room.
I don't know. It's just this dungeon's making me uneasy.
Yeah, I understand. Me too. I understand.
I see some people moving their characters. Are you trying to tell me something?
I was gonna ask if I could go close to a wall and listen and see if I can hear anything better.
Are you doing this after the short rest?
Can I have all my health, so I can do it during.
Gotcha. Okay, Mavra. So you move right there and listen. You two hear a kind of a scratching sound. I'm not even going to make you roll for it. Sounds quite close, like it's just behind the wall.
I hear something over here, guys, right near this wall.
So do we break the wall?
Can we look at the wall and see if we see any kind of groove where it's uneven, or like if there's a panel that's a slightly different color? Basically, I'm looking for a hidden door or something.
Are you asking, or are you saying that's what you're looking for?
I'm saying that's what I'm looking for.
Roll an investigation check.
Okay. Ooh, I'm sure I'm finding nothing.
Equitus walks up to the wall and slams his forehead into it.
Ow, my horns.
There is a hollow sound, but not from the wall.
Yeah, sure, guys. I'm hearing it too.
Akira's gonna stand stand up and come join them in their search.
Okay. We'll say this is happening toward the tail end of the short rest. So we're kind of out of the short rest now. Since people spent hit dice and such. Mavra was originally doing this all by herself. So I guess, is someone else, like, looking closely at the walls, searching for stuff, like Equitas was, or what?
Yeah, I'll look at the walls.
I'll help.
Fine. Akiri will make an investigation check, and get advantage from Mavra. Are you guys, like, walking up and down the wall, or just looking in a specific spot?
I would say walking up and down the wall.
I also
Or
don't.
along the wall.
Alright, what's your total? I'm not looking.
13. That's
Yeah.
right, 13.
13. With advantage.
Thank goodness.
Alright. You definitely find something there, but you can't quite make out, exactly where it is. Like, you're like, yes, there's something odd about this wall, for sure. And you two can hear the scratching now. But you're not, like, finding the secret door. You can't see there's, like, a groove here, but you're not sure if it's on this side or this side.
Can I just start hitting it to see if anything happens?
I'll help with that.
When you knock on the wall and before the giant hammer comes and hits it, you hear a hollow sound. I think between that, Crim, and the investigation checks that everyone's been doing, you eventually figure out where the secret door, for such it is, must be. And there's something scratching at it, right behind it.
Oh gosh. Should we all back up and I use Mage Hand to open it?
That's not a bad idea.
I'll step to one side and get my maul ready in case it's a nasty varmint.
All right.
So I'm gonna
I'll
conjure Mage Hand and open the door.
Yeah, I've got an Eldritch Blast ready to go, aimed at the door.
Bella had to step away to deal with the little goblin that lives in our house and wrecks our stuff. But I will assume that she is standing back with bow at the ready.
I am also going to ready a sacred flame.
And I'm concentrating on Mage Hand right now.
So Crim, a ghostly hand comes out of your hand and reaches out, extending your reach, to slide the secret door open. Is that about right?
Yep. Hopefully it's unlocked.
Okay. Everyone's where they want to be. The door slides open, and something rushes out from the room beyond.
It's Ricky Tikki Tavi.
It's a thing like a giant insect with these enormous feathery antennae. It runs through the door. And
Smack.
you try to smack it.
And Sacred Flame.
I guess roll initiative. Because I don't know who's going to get to act first. Let me set that up properly. Hang on.
Guess who forgot to click their character? Me.
You. I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was a 22. I keep only getting good in blah initiative rolls.
I need to add your turn so you can edit that. All right. Let's see what this giant insect-like thing gets. Looks like an 8. One, two, three, four, 5. So I've got to roll for... we'll say Bella's just too flabbergasted to do anything at the moment. All right. Ak-Iri, you react first.
I'm going to use Sacred Flame this butt face.
The butt face receives Sacred Flame. And, let's see how he does at dodging. He gets a 13, which will fail, taking 5 radiant damage. It lets out a... as the holy light sears it. I like how you get holy lasers. Aquitus, your turn.
Alright, instead of my Eldritch Blast, I'm going to look at this thing, and I'm going to say sleep. And I'm going to cast Command.
Interesting.
So he needs to target must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw or follow the command on its next turn. If the target is undead or it doesn't understand your language, or if your command is directly armed. Has no effect.
I have some bad news.
Oh shit, he doesn't understand any of my language. Crap. Should have read the fine print.
The distinctive red-brown of this chitinous creature may strike fear into some of your hearts. Or more specifically, its long, feathery antenna. Breath, your turn.
I'm not too worried about it, especially because I'm going to start raging now and attack it recklessly. I'm not going to scream again because my children may or may not be asleep at this point.
Okay.
That'll be a 15 to hit.
That'll hit. The maul strikes home, dealing 10 bludgeoning damage. Oh, 12 bludgeoning damage. Because of rage.
There's a way I could turn rage on.
You could manually copy this attack and add modifiers to it, and then rename it to Maul with Rage or whatever, or Choco-Block with Rage. But here's what happens: The maul comes crunch down on top of its carapace with this awful noise. And it waves its antenna around frantically. But as you lift up the maul, you notice that the red-brown color of this creature has transferred, has stained the edge of your maul. And as you hold it up and look at it in horror, the head of the maul has rust. This red-brown rust kind of forming this fuzzy film over the end of it.
That sucks.
Your rusty maul is going to take -1 damage from now on.
That sucks.
Welcome to the fear of rust monsters.
That's uncool.
Is that the end of your turn, Bref?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
DM, my weapon is magical.
Oh, I suppose that it is. And?
Also, my child needs me to check on the strange bug. I mean, this could be a special rust monster, but generally magical weapons are immune to the rust effect.
I'm aware. But his child needs him. All right. Mavra's turn.
Seeing what just happened to Bref's weapon, I might get my crossbow out.
All right.
Was a decision reached?
Yes, it does seem to be. It does seem to be rusting your maul. Oh, he couldn't hear me. It does seem to be rusting your maul.
Creepy bug.
Indeed. So, Mavra. Okay. We're adding an initiative. Oh, perfect. Bella will just pop you right in, right before the rust monster. Oops, I gave it away. Mavra has pulled out her light crossbow. Do those have the slow loading property?
I have no idea.
I think it might take you some kind of action to load the crossbow. That's a spicy rust monster, says Villis Farthuk in the chat.
I know that guy.
Ah. So they have said.
Yes. Wait. Crossbow light does have the loading property, yes.
Right. What does the loading property do?
Because of the time required to load this weapon, you can fire only one piece of ammunition when you use an action. Bonus
No
action
problem.
or reaction to fire it. Regardless of the number of attacks you can... So it won't affect the loading time, but like next level, when fighters can make 2 attacks, she could only make 1.
Got it. Thank you very much. All right. Unfortunately, the 13 will not hit the rust monster. It will bounce off of its red-brown carapace, and the arrow will just... The quarrel, which has like a metal tip, will disintegrate in midair as it does no damage. Well, the tip will anyway. Mavra, is that the end of your turn? Krim, you're up.
Okay, so I'm going to hit it with magic missile.
All right. 3 darts of glowing energy emerge from the Dragonborn, automatically hitting and each dealing 5 points of damage. How do you want to do this?
I want them to completely tear apart the rust monster and then spray up purple sparkles. Everything's purple with my fire magic.
Purple sparkles. I think I can manage that. Purple sparkles. The magic missiles go wham, 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 breaking it apart into pieces as it let out a final chitter with its mandibles, and it never got to hit, not got to attack with those feathery antennae, and it is just destroyed, broken apart on the ground, to rust no more. Well done.
That would have been pretty if it weren't so disgusting.
Now we get to investigate the room.
Well, in that room, there is a kind of a low kind of wooden altar or block upon which rests an enormous red ruby.
Is it similar to the other jewels we've seen? Or gems?
It is.
Let's take it.
Hey, Bref, I bet you'll be the easiest one to carry that.
On it!
You probably can't move
Do we
yourself
want to
through.
make sure it's not trapped first?
Hang on.
I
Here,
mean,
I'll
we
just
don't really
give you
have
the
anybody
gem.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
All right. Well, does anybody? I guess we're gonna try and take this back into the hand room.
Yeah, Bref, why don't you go to the hand room? Maybe somebody else go with him, and everybody else go to the pool room.
The only thing is we could just investigate that last door that we've seen.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
do that. We'll bring the ruby along with us
Okay,
and drop it off
that's a good idea.
nearby.
Even
Right.
Bref will have to strain to lift this stone, this semi-translucent ruby, as large as his chest. But he is a very strong man and will be able to do it. Everyone can move the ruby right now.
Sorry, that was an accidental roll.
You smash the ruby with your maul. Lugging it, you guys make your way, picking your way around the grooves so as not to trigger more darkness. Walking carefully around the glowing, ghostly tree and the pits that opened up earlier. And back to the one door I think that you haven't opened.
Okay, when everyone's here, I'll use Mage Hand to open it.
Curls is staying far back.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and cast Mage Hand.
Okay. Bref and Mavra, as you guys take up positions around the door, you hear again that sound described earlier. Coming from the door. But then Krim opens it. And this is what comes out. Crawling over the walls, door, floor, and roof is a veritable cloud of centipedes that just come rushing out, biting and doing gross stuff as they come. I'm going to need everyone... let's see. I'm going to need Bref, Mavra, and Krim and Bella all to make reflex saving throws to brush them off of you and get away from the cloud of centipedes just all over the walls, roof, and floor. Running over your bodies and biting.
Sorry, dexterity save.
All right. It looks like everyone made the save except Mavra. The dwarf has planted her feet solidly in the ground. No, she will not be stirred by creatures that she could stomp upon. However, this causes them to crawl and bite all over her.
For two, that's nasty.
And they eventually will crawl into cracks and stuff. And Villas Farthuk points out, gross, you'll find a dead one weeks later in your pack. Very true, Twitch chat. Yeah. They're also stuck to the bottom of your boots now, probably. Oh yes. So they kind of make you feel. They inject you with like little bites of poison, and even as you kill hundreds of them, they kind of rush all over you and bite you. So you're gonna take some damage.
Akiri is so glad she stayed far back.
$12 points of damage.
Would that be halved for those of us who succeeded?
Yes. Those of you that succeeded, you're going to take 6 each. As you brush them off quickly and only take a couple of these nasty purplish bites. Then they dissipate, leaving you in peace, crawling into the cracks and back up to the sandy desert from whence they no doubt have come.
Akiri's gonna go, are they gone yet?
Yeah, kick their ass.
Thanks, Equitalk.
He's better at giant centipedes than he is at, puppies.
Puppies are scary.
So now that that's gone,
Let's investigate.
box in here?
There is a strange, longish sort of crate. Old. The wood is somewhat slightly warped. And the planks are kind of fitted closely together, so you can't see what's inside.
Who wants to open it?
On it!
We can always count on Bref.
Way to go, Bref.
Who needs a rogue when the barbarian just opens things?
It's our gigantic canary in a coal mine.
Are you stuck, Bref?
Very.
Oh. Sorry about that. What are you using to open this crate? Because normally it would take a crowbar, which you might have.
Let's see. I do have a belaying pin, which probably wouldn't help much. I have my maul, which I got rid of my javelins. Never mind.
Yes, you traded those to a traveling tinker.
I
Yes.
have a javelin.
Like a pool with them.
Does anyone have any kind of like, yeah, the javelin, or if anyone actually does have a crowbar?
I don't have a crowbar, unfortunately. I have a dagger that I'm not using now that I have this cool.
I have a small knife.
I have a javelin.
No, I'll start with the dagger and just kind of start
Oh,
trying
wait.
to pry it
Wait.
open. with
I
that.
got it. Here's a bag of sand.
You're thinking of the wrong part of Indiana Jones.
I mean, you can use my javelin. They'll give you more reach.
Okay, yeah, we'll start with the javelin then.
Just don't break it.
I'm not gonna try and force it open. Like if I feel the javelin is like bending too much, I'll stop.
I thought you traded your javelins.
No, I traded mine.
Oh.
Borrowing one.
Gotcha. So taking the javelin, you kind of fit it into the cracks in the lid and you lever it up. Not really perfect tool for the job, but you're very strong. Eventually you pry open the top and you find that inside is sand. This crate...
Oh, Equitas knew what he was talking about.
It's full of dark
Add it to my collection.
brown dirt and sand.
Maybe if you can lift it up with strength, you can dump out the sand and see if there's anything on the inside without having to stick your hands in it.
Yeah.
Alright, I do that.
Okay, you strain and tip it over, pouring the dirt and sand out onto the ground. Is that loading for you guys?
I saw a little bit.
Huh. Weird. Oh, there it is. That is singularly undramatic. But whatever. Yeah, it's just that. Make a perception roll.
All of us?
Nope. Just breath.
15.
Breath, there was a kind of a hollow when you dumped it out. But now that you've dumped it, it's kind of disappeared mostly. In this loam and sand, this dark brown soil and sand, there was a kind of a hollow, vaguely in the shape of a humanoid body.
I'm gonna feel around in the sand, see if I feel anything.
Roll on the random treasure table.
Where's Cordy when you need her the most?
Watching Game of Thrones, apparently.
What a nerd.
49.
$49. You feel around, and your hand comes in contact with something hard and circular.
Does a soul?
Not spherical, circular, like it's like a disc. Do you pull it out?
Yes, I
Okay.
do.
You remove the thing, and it's this dirty kind of metal disc. You brush away the sand and soil, and it seems to be a finely crafted mirror.
I smile into it.
You smile into it. The mirror smiles back.
Mirrors are supposed to do?
Yeah, it seems pretty normal.
Yeah, but breath is breath. There's a face in the mirror. Your face. It smiles back.
This mirror's a mimic.
There seems to be a kind of inscription. It's partially obscured by the dirt still stuck to the edge of this mirror, which has this kind of twisted metal frame. It's like a little hand mirror.
So what kind of face is smiling back at me?
Your own face. It's a mirror.
I think somebody needs to explain mirrors to Breath.
But brushing away the dirt on the inscription, there's words inscribed on the frame of the mirror, and it says, "Next show in 1 hour."
Some sort of performer lived down here. Left his sword, left his mirror, left his, I don't know, demons? Devils?
Why would a performer decide to live in a place where there's literally nobody to watch him?
Maybe the guy in red is the performer. And maybe...
Also, there was a feeling of like an invisible body in here, but that seems to have disappeared, so I'm sure it's nothing.
Thanks, Braf.
Thanks, man. Or maybe that was the performer. Maybe he didn't actually live down here. Maybe he died down here. Or she.
Seems equally like.
There's a smell of damp soil and the sand that is kind of flowing out of the room now.
Can Akiri take a look at it, like, kind of sift through it? See if it looks, I don't know, like compost?
Sure, make a nature check.
I apologize in advance for this terrible, terrible roll. But,
Oh.
Yep, that's about what I was expecting. That's a 2.
I bet Cordy would have been good with
it smells odd. It feels slightly damp. It might be compost, but if so, it's long since broken down into soil.
Well, do we think we can ascertain anything else from this room?
Well, I'm pretty sure that invisible body was nothing, so I say we just keep going to the hand room.
Yeah, just kind of spin around and wave your arms around, see if you hit anybody.
I'll lie down and roll in the dirt.
After that, what do you do with the hand mirror?
I put it in my bag.
All right, well, write that down.
I mean, even even if there was an invisible person in there, they're not doing anything to us right now.
Just assuming Bref carried the gem and set it down on the floor before going in here. All right, then.
I want to do the gem trick now.
Yep, let's go and put all the gems on the hand.
Yeah. All right. So some of us go, or maybe just Bref go to the hand, and everybody else go to the pool.
Sure, sounds good.
All
I think
right.
so.
All
I'm
right.
here forever.
So,
Oh well.
I
Bye,
can
Bref.
do-
All right, you lug the gems over and lift these enormous stones into this hand, where they clatter together in its palm. Over here, meanwhile, the pool fills with water and with fire. And a swirling vortex appears in the middle, seemingly a portal to another place.
So, now that we've cleared the dungeon, should we go through it?
Well, we do have a big basilisk to read.
Well,
Right,
we have to get the half orc with us. And also, I think it could lead to some more answers with Akiri's quest.
True. What if I threw a little handful of sand in there, just to make sure that we don't see the sand like evaporate into nothingness or blow up or anything? I'm going to take a handful of sand, pour it out, and then toss it into the portal.
It falls in and is sucked through.
Okay. Alright. I mean, strange portal opened up in the middle of a scary dungeon full of undead creatures and devils. What could go wrong?
It's fiery too.
Mm-hmm.
If we decide to go through, we've got to take the half orc with us.
Right, I'm thinking.
Yeah, let's not leave our friend up there by himself.
Is the portal close enough? Are we? Does it look like we'll get burned before we get into the portal?
The stairs that go down go right into the portal. The steps into the pool lead right to the edge of this portal, so it's surrounded by fire and water.
Okay.
Which is why the stairs are there. Okay.
So, do we want to go in the portal before we take the basilisk to Stray? Obviously taking, I forgot his name, but our half-orc friend with us. Or do we want to take the... What do we want to do? Or do we want to take the orc? Because we told the orc we would take him back to Taurine. We're also going to have to see Stray in... Probably, I think she said Arkney was the next place she was going.
She might still be back at Taurine.
True.
Her
Heck, if we haven't killed all of Tareen with that one map.
I'm trying not to think about that. I'm kind of curious about that.
I'm impulsive, so I say we go through the portal.
no.
But part of me does remember that we do have 3 enormous gemstones. And we could always sell those.
I mean, that's true. But before we did that, I really want to know where this portal goes.
Yeah, me too.
Equitas, you go through it.
But, like, we could easily die without the full strength of the party.
I don't know. I mean, maybe going back
We could
would
return.
be a good thing. We can take this sleeping dude back. Hopefully he's not an evil wizard. We can take the orc back. We can spend all of our money on healing potions and other useful items, and then we can go through the portal and then kill whatever is on the other side.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the smart thing to do.
But we're adventurers. Say no to the adventure.
I mean,
We also need to keep our word to the orc.
We're very cautious adventurers.
Yes, cautious.
I've survived. But I'll go with a group.
I really think we should play it safe. I'm very curious, and I want to see where this portal goes for sure.
I mean, I don't think anyone doesn't want to see where this portal
Yeah.
I think we just want to, Actually, here's another important question. What are we going to do with the evil sleeping elf woman?
Absolutely
A
nothing.
lot of loose ends that we have not tied up if we go through this portal.
Yeah, I think we should see if our half-orc friend knows anything about the sleeping guy. If he recognizes him.
That's a weird thought.
I mean, I don't know anybody else. I mean, he's the only person around. And he's been asleep for so long. Maybe this guy has been down here. I know that's a long time, but
Could be another member of his group or a group that came past. I mean, I know he's not an adventurer, but he was. I think he was traveling with other people.
yeah, I think this was it was a market above, if I remember correctly.
Right, it was like a trading post.
Right. Okay. So let's
I keep
go up.
forgetting that people used to live here.
Right. So let's go up, talk to our half-orc friend, take him to Taurine, find out about Shay, get some, give her the basilisk wherever she may be. Hopefully she's at Taurine. Hopefully Taurine's still there.
A slip of the tongue. You said Shay instead of Stray.
Oh, did I? My bad.
The Game of Thrones character.
Right. And then after that, we'll come back down here and portal it up. Of course, at that point, we'll probably have somewhere else to go, but we'll worry about that at that point.
But I seriously bet Taurine is gone. Like, wiped off the map.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to find out. That's another reason to go.
Wildly powerful artifact.
Are we bringing the wizard guy up there?
Yes.
I'll get him.
Oh, another question. What are we doing with the stones?
They're too heavy for us to take them with us.
We could just leave them here and hope they stay.
Yeah, I don't think we have any other choice but to do that. I
Breath.
think we ought to knock them off we don't want to leave this portal open. Let's do not leave this portal open when we leave. Don't want anything coming through that we don't see come through.
That seems reasonable.
Okay. Alright, y'all ready? Let's get the guy, take the stones off the hand, and head up top. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
Alright. Breath, sounds like you're gonna be doing all the heavy lifting.
All right, I got the guy that's sleeping.
Alright, we need to go down and take the stones off. I'm not very
Cordy
strong.
does that for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Cordy.
Thanks, Cordy. MVP.
Oh, no problem.
Then
And-
let's just dig the throne.
Isn't this down here where we came from?
Yes.
So you pull all the stones off the hand, which means this portal disappears. As does the flame. As does the pool of ether.
Oh yeah. As a note, I am going to do a cure wounds on Mavra, just real quick.
Alright, Mavra, you get cure wounds. So, basically, you guys have deactivated all of these magical effects and dragging the sleeping man up the stairs with you. You exit the way you have come, climbing back out. At this point, man, you guys have slept so much and been awake so much and been down underground so much. I've started to lose a little track. I've got to check. I've got to check where we are. What time it is. I think it would be evening by now. As you guys climb back into the desert above.
So as soon as we hit the air, Makiri's just gonna take off like straight up and start circling around the camp area, like doing loop-de-loops and spins and rolls. She's just really freaking happy to be out from underneath her. She'll rejoin you guys in a second.
Akiri frolics in the evening air as you guys have returned to Rubble Point. The half-orc that you turned back to a man from being stone looks incredibly relieved to see you. He says in broken common, I did not know how much longer I could wait. I was thinking of wandering off, but I have no supplies.
Well,
Can
I
I
hope
get-
you're hungry for centipede.
Yeah, okay.
Excuse me?
It's a joke, don't worry. I'll eat them.
Oh. Yes, joke. So you guys gather around the campfire, and under the starry night sky, as it is very soon night, you are able to enjoy a repast. Be sure to mark off any ration. And kind of take a breather after the intense action down below. I guess I'm assuming that you guys would want to... there's all the rations being played. Yes, indeed. You're going to need a ration card or for someone else to play a ration on your behalf in order to avoid in order to get your full healing from a long rest.
Now, what if we didn't need healing? Do we have to use a ration card?
Well, you'll start taking exhaustion points.
Okay. Okay.
I was never given ration cards, so I just marked one off on my.
Oh, how many rations do you have?
I have 7 now.
Okay. Well, that is easily remedied. You know what? Just take them from the table. There's 4 there that other people have played. And there you go. Do you need a bedroll, tent, flask, or backpack?
I already have the bedroll card. I don't have a backpack card.
Okay. Do you have a backpack?
Yes. I
Okay.
can list off what I have if you need me to.
Sure. It can be a convenient way to keep track. But there's a backpack card should be showing up on the table.
Okay. I have arcane focus, javelin, 1 javelin, 1 explore pack, 2 daggers, 1 backpack, 1 bedroll, 1 mess kit, 1 tinderbox, 10 torches, 7 rations, 1 water skin, 1 hempen rope.
We may get around to doing cards for those things, or we may get tired of the cards and just delete them all. I'm not sure yet.
Okay. I have other things, but
Cool. Okay. So, as you guys are making your camp, eating your food, kindling a fire, talking amongst yourselves about the adventure, is there anything else you'd like to do?
I'd like to ask Kront, our half-orc friend. Kront, do you recognize this sleeping man that we brought up with us?
He looks over at him. No. No, I do not. I recognize.
Okay, does his fashion, does he look like he came, like, is he wearing clothes similar to the clothes that were worn when you visited this place in your time?
Not sure if Kront understands, but moi, Kront, maybe.
wait, I'll talk to him in orc.
Okay.
I'll ask him that question in orc so he can understand.
Yes, those clothes might have been worn in my time, but then anything you folk wearing might have been worn in my time as well, so I'm not sure that it is much of an anachronism.
So, it looks like, he's not for sure, but he says it looks like it might have been clothes from his time, but he also says our clothes look like they might have been from his time, which I'm not for sure if that's an insult or not.
Wow.
Just because I shop at the thrift store. Alright, okay. Alright. And, okay. Did you know anything about did you know about caverns and underneath this place?
I had heard rumors that below Caranese there was something old from the old empire of Ebb. Gives me the shivers.
Yeah, it was pretty scary, pretty freaky, to be honest with you.
Occult dealers with devils and fouler things from other places.
Yeah, that sounds about like what we saw. Well, how about we get you home to Taurine, which I'm sure is there.
Well, that sounds good. I don't know how much home Kront will find.
Neither are we.
It has been a long time. Probably some of the elves Kront knew, or dwarves, are still alive. But none of Kront's close friends or family. Not that Kront had any family in Taurine, nay.
There is. I mean, you mentioned that you ran a tavern. There is an elvish gentleman who's been keeping it active since then.
Oh?
Now that you mentioned that,
The Broken Bottle?
That's right.
Yes.
There's the man that runs it, his name is in my notes. It's Sim Jethrian.
When he said broken bottle, I guess I was assuming that he was talking in orc. Or in the older common, and that someone had, someone was translating. But his name for it was La Coupe Cassée.
I like that. Really
I'll
is French.
translate.
Okay. Yeah, tell him we know Sim Jethrian. He's the bartender at the Blind Bottle.
What was that name?
Jethrian. Sim Jeffrian?
Sim. Well, that little cunt face.
The guy that owns it, his name is Amaral
no.
Kafan.
He was after my tavern deed all this time. I wonder how long he waited before he moved in.
Or maybe he was just keeping it running in your memory, assuming that you had passed away, because no one could possibly have foreseen that you would come back 200 years later.
Nope,
Well,
someone up.
Well, they should have known that Kront would not abandon La Coupe Cassée. The building he raised with his own hands. The brews he stored and sealed. They should have known.
Well, let's go back, and maybe they'll be really happy to see you. And if not, then we'll help you plot vengeance.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Actually, the owner of the Blind Bottle, his name is Amaral Kafana. Sim Jethrian is just another It's just a bartender.
Okay, Amaral Katana.
Yeah.
I'll tell him that.
it's a Ramel.
A Ramel. My bad. I spelled that wrong. Okay.
I think there was some confusion there because he reacted to a Ramel Kapana.
Yeah, that's sort of what I figured. Yeah.
Not Sim Jethrian.
Right.
Okay.
Is Aranel the elvish guy that we were talking to, not Sam?
I think so. He's the owner. I've got him listed as the owner of the Blind Bottle.
It's an M as in Mancy. It's a Ramel like Aramis, except with an L instead of an S.
He really likes Tliaxi.
What?
It says that he had, didn't he, something in there it said that he had statues or something to a god named Tliaxi?
There is not a god in my game called Tliaxi. I think you're thinking of Dune. But
I don't know where I got that from.
he did have symbols of a god, just not a god named Tliaxi.
I don't know where I got that, so forget that.
It was Mieki, I think.
Oh, okay. Why did I get... Okay.
Try. There was an attempt.
Well, let's go see what's going on with your bar.
But I have to admit, I now kind of wish that I had named a god Tliaxi, because that's cooler. That's
It's a pretty
cooler.
cool name. I'll have to remember that one.
I'm gonna retcon it now. Okay.
I think it might be from Dune, though.
Yeah, the Benny Tlaylax, I think, are a thing in Dune.
Yeah, the dancers or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, moving on.
So yeah, let's go find out what's going on. I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. You've been gone for a very long time, very long time, and I'm sure that this will all be worked out. And we're on your side. We know that you were stoned, so yeah, we'll get this figured out for you.
La Coupe Cassé is mine, and it's not right that he moved in. That lowlife always wanted my place.
But okay, I'd like to know that by this time, Akiri has definitely joined back up with everyone, and she's like chilling up on the roof.
Nice. So she's flown down to the stone roof that still remains, and she's kind of looking over the edge at the fire flickering on the faces of her compatriots down below, and she's listening to him complain about that rat bastard Kapana. Kapana. What a stupid elf name, anyway. I've met elves with better names.
Yeah.
Sorry, that got a little racial. I didn't mean for it to be.
Guys, we cured a racist. Can we stone him again?
He actually...
Crying, you're canceled.
Oh boy. Guys, it was a different time. They used those kinds of words back then. It was normal.
What's this? What are you talking about?
We're talking about how great you are, Kron, and how we're going to find out what's going on with your bar right now. You want to come with us and...
Right now?
Yeah,
he looks
let's
around.
go.
Aren't we days travel away from...
Well, I meant we're going to leave right now.
Oh, at night?
Almost nighttime. It's like evening.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't really need any rest, but yeah, let's rest. We can do that.
Cordy needs some rest.
Okay, good. If we need rest, let's rest.
I mean, it would be the normal thing to do.
Yeah, I
Sleeping
get
at nighttime.
I like the night, but that's fine.
So you sit, you rest, you lie down, you unroll your bedrolls, check your cards. For every camping item you have, you'll regain 1 hit die that you might have spent while resting.
I'd play a relaxing bagpipe melody.
You do indeed, and it is a pleasant experience for all. You don't actually have to roll it right now, Haley. You're actually regaining the hit dice you spent. Because you're taking a long rest. So during a short rest, you spend hit dice. During a long rest, you regain hit dice.
And spell slots.
Okay. And do you
Yeah.
regain your health?
You regain all your health and all your spell slots.
Has it been long enough for those of us who have charges on magical items to regain a charge?
You will the next morning.
Okay.
That seems to be tied more to the rising of the sun or moon than anything else.
Fair enough.
Okay, are you guys doing any watches?
I mean,
Definitely.
All right. Well, I think Danielle and Jeremy had to run off to deal with their own goblin.
I could take first watch.
Okay, make a perception roll. You're joining her?
Kiri is joining her.
Very well. Both of you can make perception rolls.
That's probably fine. Bella is distracted by desperately trying to think back to college, to all of the early modern common poetry that she learned to try and figure out how to talk to this orc.
Nice.
At some point, Akiri's gonna like sidle over to Bella and be like, "Hey, Bella."
Like, in that tone of voice.
Yeah, exactly that tone of voice.
Alright, so it's now like 9-ish at night. Everybody else is asleep. And she's like, hey, Bella.
What you think about that dungeon, though? Pretty creepy, huh?
I mean, yeah, it was, archaeologically interesting. But yeah, full of monsters. I really, really feel like we need to do something about that sleeping elf woman down there. I feel like she's bad news, and she's gonna wake up at some point, and that's gonna be on us.
I mean, what are we gonna do? I mean, she's obviously really nasty. So, like, do we kill her? I'm not sure I'm okay with it.
Bella just kind of heaves a sigh and says, of all of the adventuring parties that I've ever traveled with, you guys have some really specific and narrow rules about who you're not willing to kill.
Yeah, but she's not doing anything right now. She is sleeping.
Alright. In theory, if we found somebody who we knew for sure was a vampire in their coffin, would you be okay with putting a stake through their heart, or would you want to wake up and have a conversation first?
Honestly, I almost want to have the conversation first. But that's
why?
I mean, I don't know. I've never talked to a vampire before. They might be interesting.
Alright, well, I mean, I'm sure they are very interesting, but I'm sure that they're also very deadly and full of murder, so I don't know. I mean, regardless, like, I feel like someone needs to deal with her, however we decide that we're going to do it. And if it means going back to town and maybe going to that library that Aquitas is always on about and trying to do some research to find out who she might be and how we might prevent her from doing more harm, then that's fine, but we can't just let her stay there until whatever trigger happens that was going to wake her up to do whatever she's waiting to do.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. But, like, I don't like the thought of just killing her.
Yeah, I mean, we could give her a chance to not be an evil cultist who's waiting to bring on the end of the world, but I mean, she probably is.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, okay. guess you.
But, I mean, the thing is, we're really going to need you on board with this because you're our cleric, which means if she's some kind of crazy undead, you're probably going to be one of the people who's best equipped to deal with her.
Yeah, I guess so. Although we do have that really neat silver sword now, though, right?
Yeah, and that might help with some things, but I'm not sure that silver is useful against undead. I think it's... I mean, from what I understand about what we learned about it, it seems for some reason to be more useful with singing.
Huh. Why would silver help with singing? And she's gonna look really confused. Is it like a silver tongue kind of thing?
Acoustics.
No, okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that was convincing.
She's gonna like kind of shuffle around a little bit. Hey, Bella, you said you've been with other adventuring parties before, right?
Yeah, a few.
Have you ever been to something like this? Like, does this kind of thing happen often?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what adventuring parties seek out, you know? If nothing like this happens, then you're not on an adventure. Actually, if you want to know a little bit more about it, since we're on watch, and Bella kind of digs into her pack and she pulls out like a small stack of books and she says, I mean, I've chronicled all of it in my series of travel books.
And she's gonna brighten. Oh, really? Was there anything like really as crazy as this, or was it pretty tame compared to it?
Well, I mean, spoilers. You know, there's a lot of different kinds of danger. You know, sometimes you're in danger from a bunch of crazy undead insects underneath an ancient temple from 3 empires ago, and sometimes you're in danger of getting a bad review from a local town crier for your latest performance of a play that you wrote yourself. There's all different sorts of adventures in the world, and I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Yeah, no, I'm like, okay. Thanks, Bella. That really helped. That dungeon was really scary. I've never really seen anything like that. And I don't know, it was just really, really scary.
That's one of the benefits of traveling with an adventuring party. You know, don't think of it as something that you can't handle yourself. Think of it as a bunch of people who all have different skills, who are coming together to defeat problems that they couldn't handle on their own.
Okay. Alright. I like the way of thinking about that, Bella. Thank you. That's really helpful. And she's gonna give you a...
I will hug her back.
Alright, and I think that's about as much as the end of the talk I wanted, unless you want to...
Alright. Well, other than your interesting conversation, your watch passes mostly uneventfully. Who's going to take the second watch?
I'll take it.
I'll go.
Okay. The two of you awaken. You find Curls and Bella separating from a hug and going to lie down in their respective bedrolls. As Crim and Equitus take up the night watch, I'm going to ask you to make perception rolls.
Oh no.
All right. um, well, neither of you is going to notice much of anything. Krim, how do you think Krim would how would Krim like fuck up a watch? Like would she kind of drowse, like kind of her heavy lizard like eyelids kind of blinking slowly as she nods, leaning against a part of the ruin? Or would she kind of like focus in on something?
How do you want to not do this?
I think she's just really in her head right now.
Mm.
Thinking about her tragic backstory.
So Krim is standing on top of the ruin, the wind blowing across her scales, and staring off into the distance, not really on watch so much as doing a brooding pose and thinking about those sorcerers. Those sorcerers. There's something tickling your mind about it, but you can't quite lay her claw on it. There's something she missed or didn't notice, that something about those sorcerers that came through. Yes, Equitus?
Krim,
Yeah.
you all right? You seem lost.
Gosh. Just thinking. About my family.
Oh, are you close with your family?
They're dead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Really sorry.
It happened like about 3 years ago.
Oh,
But afterwards, I had to learn how to survive on my own. So I'd never really been outside of my town. And suddenly I was forced to leave.
it must have been scary. How old were you?
I was 15, but
Wow.
that's the age of adulthood for Dragonborn.
Okay. Still, it must have been
Yeah.
really lonely.
I was just beginning to be an adult. And then I didn't know anyone.
Wow. And I am sorry that I know that can play on you. I know it can. But we're here for you. I mean, anytime you want to talk, anything that you want to get off your chest. I know
I'll
I'm
have to
here.
tell you guys about it soon. Soon enough.
Well.
But
I understand if you need to come at it in your own way and in your own time. I completely understand that.
you're really understanding for the Hellboy. I got him.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, you kind of have to, growing up, seeing some of the things I've seen, you kind of have to learn to be a little more understanding, a little more open about things than some of the other.
Sorry, I'm trying not to.
Hellborn.
Me too.
That was funny.
You all right?
That was a killing joke.
Yeah. It's my teasing nickname for you. I I don't do anything but
That's fine. No, that's fine. You're fine. Whenever you're ready to talk, just let me know. Or I'm sure anybody else in the group would be happy to talk to you too.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a lot.
Right. Totally get that. Totally.
Oh shoot, we should probably focus on Monster Watch.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, despite your distracted state, nothing untoward seems to have occurred. It's as if fate were joking. Who's on third watch?
I can be.
And me.
All right, let's have you guys make perception rolls. Oh, okay, you made them. 16 and 17?
Yep.
There's little sound, but for the small creatures traveling through the desert, using the night to make their way across the ruins, perhaps. The corpses of the basilisks are covered in mounds of ants that are slowly picking away at them. Like shadows writhing in the dark.
Oh, that's a little more pleasant when they're not crawling over us.
You do spot bigger and bigger ants. Both of you see this. Kind of marching in a line. As you're kind of looking on watch. Where are you guys standing? Where would you be on watch, most likely?
I imagine, because we're all kind of camped in this nice little building, I might just head out around this area.
Okay. So you're seeing these ants coming from the east. And they're starting to get bigger. They look more like spiders, like maybe ants the size of your hand. Forming this line as they go up and over and down things and around pieces of the ruin.
We should keep an eye on that. That's those aren't normal sized. If they start getting tired of basilisk and start heading our way, then quickly wake the others.
For the moment, they just seem to be picking at this corpse. And this long line of ants that stretches out into the desert.
Here, hold up. And I'm gonna quickly go up here. Is this covered with anything?
Regular-sized ants.
I'm gonna drag that over and place it, like I'm gonna crawl up on this stone and just kind of flump it over onto the ground here.
Okay, the ants are waving their feelers. It's hard to tell if they're taking any notice of you or not. But they travel. They seem to be taking, like, mouthful of basilisk and then turning around and heading back toward wherever their nest may be.
They're coming out of the picture of Kronk.
Kron's the king of the ants.
Kronk's the BBEG. We knew it.
Sorry, who do you wake up?
Oh no, I was saying that the ants are coming from the portrait of Kronk. So we now believe that he is the Lord of the Ants.
Got it. Well, after a while, you do notice that some of the ants break off and find this corpse as well, and a new line starts. Marching back and forth, taking pieces of the dead basilisk. But if you guys don't want to disturb them, they don't seem interested in disturbing you.
Yeah, no, I think we'll leave them alone. Yeah.
All right, then.
Bella could play that Dave Matthews song about it. Ants marching.
All right.
That would be
Everyone's...
pretty badass on the bagpipes.
Mm-hmm.
The ants go marching one by one. Everyone's taking a watch. The next morning, everyone but Mavra and Bref are surprised to find these basilisk corpses have been almost skeletonized. Their flesh pared away and mostly gone.
You have any nightmares while you slept? Because we had some while we were awake. Everything is terrible.
Did you say ants did this, Bref?
They were pretty dang big.
Huh. And they're gone now? You didn't see any more?
Yeah, I imagine after the blast of the flesh was stripped away, they probably just kind of stopped their little trails.
So it seems, although there are still normal-sized ants picking away at the remainder.
Okay, so Akiri is kind of grossed out, but Emmy wants to know, could I grab a skull from one of the basilisks? Because that sounds freaking rad.
Yes, you probably could.
Cool, I'm gonna do it and give it to Courtney, because this is something she'd probably love.
All right, we'll make a note and tell her later. All right. Are you guys going to pack up, eat breakfast, and start traveling? Cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, welcome to the 23rd of Jaxu. With the rise of this sun. And
You have to go help Krot take vengeance on his former friend.
Yeah, let's go kill the bartender.
Question mark after that friend. friend?
Alrighty. I think instead of doing it now, this is a perfect place to stop. So we will pick up next time with some travel rolls in the in our hex map. So that should be fun. And thanks, guys, for playing.
Thank you. This was another blast.
You completed the dungeon. And you have, I think, now, yes, you have achieved level 3.
Woo! I can't wait.
So congratulations. That's probably the biggest jump in power of any level up.
Now,
So
can you or somebody explain to me again how it works to how you figure out what your total hit points will be after you level up?
okay, so you're gonna roll a hit die, and that should add your charisma bonus, and then you add that number to your total,
Okay.
your maximum hit points.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I think really you could, almost like during a short rest, you could just hit the hit die button in roll 20.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's actually
Yeah, I was
wait.
gonna say this rolled the hit dice, but it didn't add my charisma bonus.
1 second.
Okay.
Okay, if you go to your character sheet, everybody, and you click on the little, the little cog, the little settings thing, further in the rightmost column, there's 2 buttons that look like a hammer and a mace. If you click the launch the level plus character mancer, that will guide you through the process of leveling up your character.
Oh, I see. Cool,
It's
cool.
like the character creation thing, but it's for leveling up. So if you have any questions after doing that, then ping us in the assistance channel in Discord. But that should probably guide you through and answer most of your questions. It'll tell you how many spells to pick. It'll automatically add your hit dice that you roll to your character sheet and any other bonuses that you have. It'll automatically add any level dependent bonuses that your character is getting either for your race or your class, and factor those into whatever those are affecting. So it works really well and it's really easy.
Cool.
Awesome. Roll20 player tips. Let's close out the stream. So thank you all, everyone who watches this later. Thank you to everyone who came into Twitch chat to hang out and give me terrible ideas. By terrible, I mean awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you to Jeremy, Emily, Paul, Haley, Danielle, and Kirsten for joining me for this session of the Wildlands. We're going to sign off from Twitch now, so thank you and good night.